Another day, another dose of post-apocalyptic education. I clicked the icon, and the familiar grid of faces popped up. Same old, same old. Hey, my house was always way too quiet these days. A constant reminder of how things used to be. Most of my classmates looked bored, just like me. But then there was Sarah's Square, always black. No picture, no video, just a name. It was weird. Then, a private message blinked in the chat. From an anonymous user, it just said, "Don't leave the screen." I felt a shiver run down my spine. A glitch. A prank. Mrs. Davis droned on about pre-apocalypse history, something about, I don't know, taxes. Wasn't listening, I was watching the chat. Another message. It's time from Ben. "Max, did you ever get that model rocket finished? The one in your garage? How did he know about that?" I never told anyone. I looked at his video feed. Smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. It was like he was reading from a script. Then mid-sentence, another student, Chloe, just vanished. Little square on the screen blinked out of existence. Poof. Gone. The student counter dropped from 15 to 14. Mrs. Davis didn't even seem to notice. My heart started pounding. This wasn't right. The weird messages, Ben knowing things he shouldn't, and now Chloe just disappearing. Something was happening behind our screens. Something bad. I messaged my two best friends, Liam and Maya, on our private channel. "Meet me after class. We're going to the school. The real one." They replied instantly. No questions asked. That's why they're my best friends. An hour later, we were standing in front of what used to be Northwood Middle School. It was a wreck. One whole wing had collapsed, windows were shattered, and vines snaked up the brick walls. Faded banner that read, "Go Badgers," flapped miserably in the wind. The silence was heavy, broken only by the crunch of broken glass under our sneakers and a faint low growl that seemed to come from everywhere at once. We crept through the main entrance, the doors hanging off their hinges. Inside, it was even worse. Desks were overturned, textbooks were scattered like confetti, and everything was covered in a thick layer of dust and something sticky. It smelled like a swamp. As we rounded a corner into the courtyard, Maya gasped and grabbed my arm. My stomach lurched. Just outside, near the old oak tree, were a dozen small, makeshift wooden crosses hammered into the dirt. On one, I could just make out a name scratched into the wood, Chloe. My blood ran cold. The names on the other crosses were all familiar. Kids from our class, kids who had disappeared from the Zoom roster over the past few months. Before we could even process it, the growling got louder. 3 creatures shambled out from behind the ruined cafeteria. They were hideous. Big, lumpy bodies covered in green-black slime, with too many eyes and long, spindly limbs that ended in sharp claws. But they weren't attacking. They were just watching us, guarding the place. "Okay," I whispered, my voice trembling. "New plan. We need weapons." Liam grabbed a broken floor hockey stick. Maya found a fire extinguisher. I managed to pry a metal leg off a broken desk. It wasn't much, but it was something. The first monster lunged. I swung the desk leg, and it connected with a sickening squelch. The creature screeched and stumbled back. Liam tried a heroic slide tackle, but just ended up covered in mud and monster goo. Maya, meanwhile, sprayed another one right in its many faces with the fire extinguisher. Out blinded and crashed right into its friend, sending them both tumbling into a pile of old lunch trays. It was terrifying, but honestly, kind of hilarious. We used the chaos to scramble deeper into the school, barricading a classroom door behind us. This room was different. It looked like someone had been using it recently. There were a few laptops open on the desks. We ran over to one. It was Chloe's. Her class notes were still open. Next to them, a chat log. It was a transcript of her last class, full of those same weirdly specific questions, followed by lines of scrambled code. But then we saw it. A recurring IP address logged every time a student asked one of those creepy questions. It was a tracking protocol. They weren't just asking questions. They were pinpointing locations. "They're not just taking them," Maya said, her voice barely a whisper. "They're hunting them, using the class to do it." We had to get out. We peeked out the door. The monsters were regrouping, sniffing the air. We were trapped. Then Liam had an idea. He pointed at a diagram on the whiteboard, a leftover from Mr. Henderson's science class. The classic vinegar and baking soda volcano. Remember this? He grinned. He said the pressure from the carbon dioxide reaction is surprisingly powerful. It was insane, but it was all we had. We found an old supply closet with everything we needed. We filled a dozen empty water bottles, creating a minefield of makeshift pressure bombs. As the monsters charged the door, we rolled them out. One by one, they stepped on the bottles, which erupted in fizzy, high-pressure explosions. Didn't hurt them, but it stunned and confused them long enough for us to make a run for it. We sprinted out of the school, not daring to look back, the sounds of their frustrated roars fading behind us. I've never run so fast in my life. We made it back to my house, gasping for air, hearts still hammering against our ribs. Safe for now. After Liam and Maya left, I couldn't resist. I had to know. I logged back into the Zoom waiting room for tomorrow's class. I scanned the list of participants. 15. 14. Ben. Ben was gone now, too. I stared at the screen, my webcam light flickered on and off. My video feed glitched just for a second. But in that second, the image wasn't of my bedroom. It was the school. And standing right behind where my chair should be was one of them. A tall, slimy monster with way too many eyes, looking right at me. The screen went black.